From Oshkosh, number 5, Spike Carpenter. Number 10, Tyler Brzezinski. Number 20, Matt Nowak. Number 22, Ryan Williams. Number 32, Nick Redman. Number 40, Eric Zelmer. Number 50, Casey Radke. Number 52, David Shivington. And number 54, Mike Kwan. For Fond du Lac, number 11, Pat Randall. Number 13, Robbie Springborn. Number 15, Derek Arndt. Number 20, Sean Bartelt. Number 24, Mike Village. Number 25, Kyle Shepard. Number 32, Jim Dilling. And number 44, Casey Weeks. Now the starters for tonight. From Oshkosh, a freshman, 5'9", number 4, Josh Langenfeld. For Fond du Lac, a senior, 6'3", number 4, Lee Greshel. For Oshkosh, a senior, 6 foot, number 12, Mike Burns. For Fond du Lac, senior, 5'10", number 5, Colin West. For the Indians, a senior, 6'1", number 30, Paul Trebekowski. For the Cardinals, a senior, 6'3", number 12, Matt Sprader. For Oshkosh, a sophomore, 6'7", number 34, Tom Levin. For Fond du Lac, a sophomore, number 31, at 5'11", Chris Saberlick. And for Oshkosh, a sophomore, 6'5", number 42, Dane Sucker Anderson. And rounding out your Fond du Lac Cardinals, a senior, 6'11", number 34, Eddie Ross.
It's going to be back up to the full field houses, I think, in 2 years.
Both of these
battling the West Indians and Fondy.
Both of these coaches gotten the job done over the last several years. West has been strong. They've been the state last year, won a state championship, won a state runner-up last year, lost a state championship game to Milwaukee Vincent. And Fond du Lac has won FBA titles 9 of the last 11 years. Ross against Levin, and the Cardinals lose the jump. It's Langenfeld in the front court. Off to Mike Barrett, right side. Barrett, one dribble back to Langenfeld, a bounce feed on the left side to Secker Anderson. Ross comes out at him. Secker Anderson weaves his way through to the hole and gets an easy one on Ross.
Oh, Secker Anderson right there, as you said, he just turned and faced the hoop, went right to the rack against Eddie.
Colin West, who went from being a little used reserve to getting some playing time, and now he's starting.
It's all hard work for Colin. He's a hustle guy out there in the basketball.
Oh, he's their definite hustle guy out there. Ross down low, kick out the Sprader, work it right side to Greshel. Lee goes outside to Ross, inside to Ross from West, and Ross had the shot blocked. Picked up by West. Oshkosh West with the ball. Barrett out front. Push off in the lane. It's going to be at Oshkosh West.
West is
Trebekowski the foul.
They like to really screen and move off their screens, and that time they just got caught on the swing right there, the moving screen.
Free throw line right. Saberlick to West. Bounce piece to Sprader. Cutting is Greshel high off the glass. Couldn't get it to fall. Last touch by Oshkosh West. It'll be Fond du Lac basketball on the baseline.
It seemed like for the first time against Appleton North last week, Fondy really seemed to gel as a team. Everybody was on the same page there. That inside-outside game working perfectly, and that's what you want as you get deeper into February here in tournament time.
Saberlick leans in from 15 off the back of the iron. Chased down by Langenfeld for Oshkosh West. Langenfeld between the rings. Coming out to get it is Secker on the elbow. Ross chases him out there. Trubikowski, Langenfeld weaves his way through, lost the dribble, picked up by Ross.
Lee Gressel did a nice job of getting a hand in there, knocking it away as he came in with the help defense.
Almost 2 minutes gone by here in the first quarter. West out to the 2-0 lead. Sprader, drive and kick to Saberlick. Over to Greshel, who'll try the 10-footer. He'll rim it out. One and done for Fond du Lac. Here comes West on the other end. Langenfeld running the point guard position. We didn't even see him the first time. He was a call-up from the lower levels. Wasn't even on the varsity roster.
Brought up Langenfeld and Spike Carpenter.
Secker Anderson score the goal, and he'll shoot one. Ross got him. Secker Anderson's been getting deep on Ross. Scored on Ross. And West could take a 5-0 lead.
Secker Anderson really isn't that true post player that Eddie's matched up against. He's a guy that can step outside and hit that three-pointer, and he likes to face the basket and go to the hole, so probably not the best matchup for Eddie tonight.
Sprader box out Secker Anderson on the free throw miss. Down low to Ross. Ross trying to dish back some punishment, and he does. He hit the left side shot.
That's Eddie at his best right there. Getting the ball his back to the basket and looking more fluid as the year goes along down in the block. He felt really comfortable there, and he looked smooth on the paint.
He took it right in on Levin. Left wing three-point try. In and out for Burt. Burt missed the three and running in the other end and scoring on a fast break easy hoop. That's Matt Sprader dash again.
And Colin West right there saw the cutter through. Sprader beat everybody down the floor on the weak side, and Sprader with the easy two. Matt only had 2 points last week against North in the last game.
We're tied at 4. Secker Anderson at the free throw line. Out to Burnt. Langenfeld has it. Levin gets the touch. Guarded by Sprader. Took him to the lane. Kicked it out to Langenfeld. Levin. And a push-off as he took one dribble. And a foul on Fond du Lac. That's going to be on Lee Greshel.
And they're going to get Lee. I guess they said he pushed off right there as he gave the hand check on Levin at the elbow.
Sean Bartell, 6'1" sophomore, averaging 2.1 a game. And Mike Millage, we talked about earlier. Millage at the 14 points off the bench. He's been coming off the bench in the last 3 games. Millage, a 5'11" senior, averaging 6.6 a game. From the corner, soft jumper by the freshman, David Shivington. Got it on the baseline and put it home for a 6-4 Oshkosh West lead.
Gotta like that name, Shivington.
They got a lot of tongue-twisting names on this West team. Millage, bounce feed into Ross. Pass fake, a throw out to West. Down low to Bartell, who finishes.
Oh, that was a great play there by Fond du Lac. Colin had the 15-foot jumper right there, but he saw Bartell on the weak side and made the extra pass, and they ended up with the layup.
Weaving his way in, blocked away. Secker Anderson blocked by Ross, and the Cardinals have it. Trying to break the 6-all tie. Millage from way out, dribbles to the wing, feeds down low to Eddie, backs his way in and scores. Eddie Ross. He's got 4. The Cardinals take an 8-6 lead.
That's what they can keep doing as long as they keep playing behind Eddie. Just dump it inside and let him go to work.
On the elbow, Secker Anderson. Ryan Williams, who normally starts for this Oshkosh West team, is in the game, 6-foot senior, but he didn't make the start tonight for some reason. Randall just juggled up his whole lineup.
Now, Williams has been a guy that's been kind of productive for the Indians this year.
Stepping out, Secker Anderson leaves it off the back of the iron, and he'll turn it over to Fond du Lac as the ball goes out of bounds.
Well, you know, like you said, you've lost a lot of close games this year for Oshkosh West, so they're sitting at 3-10, but how many games, you know, they lost the one in double overtime at the Horn on, I think that was last Friday night, and they've just had lots of games like that. So they haven't really been blown out at all this season. Played everybody tough. Robbie Springborn into the game. He did not start. He's got the sore hand. 5'9" sophomore, quickest kid on the team. Ross gets another touchdown low. Backs his way in and misses the layup. Got his ball rebound back and lost it. Goes squirting out to the perimeter and goes squirting out of bounds. It'll be Fond du Lac basketball. Fond du Lac out there with Mike Millage, Robbie Springborn, Matt Sprader, Sean Bartell, and the big fella, Eddie Ross. 2:56 to go, Cardinals by 2. Springborn running the point. Pulls up the dribble, looks for Ross, he's double teamed. Sprader with the touch. Springborn in the corner has it. He'll get it down to Ross. Kick back out to Springborn, working on top to Millage. Millage will pop it from way out there. We've seen him
unload from 25 feet and hit. Ross down low, turns right, turns baseline, and softs it in.
Well, I think Eddie's going to have a nice night tonight if he can stay out of foul trouble, because they're playing behind him and giving him some space to move. And to let Eddie turn around and face the hoop, he's got pretty soft hands.
6 of the 10 points. Shot over Ross, short arm by Shivington. West will have a reload, though they keep it. 10-6 Cardinals hitting the 2-minute mark in this first quarter. Chuck Freeman and Wade Bates here at Fond du Lac High School on News Talk 1450 KFIZ and on Charter Sports tonight on TV. Spike Carpenter, who we didn't see the first time either, a freshman, 5'7". Spike dribbling to the free throw line. Let's fly. A high rainbow shot. Missed it. No one boxed him out. Carpenter chased down his board, but it goes off his knee and out of bounds. Greshel back in for Fond du Lac.
Boy, I bet you the matchup with Spud Shady and Spike Carpenter and Oshkosh West is going to be a matchup for the next few years. Probably two of the smallest kids in the FBA.
Got to believe they've played against each other a few times on the grade school levels. 2 freshmen.
Spud Shady's got to be 5'5" as well.
Bartell has it outside the yard. Millage works through a screen. By the right side with Springborn. Millage on top will let it fly and leave it short off the front of the iron. Greshel tried to battle for the rebound. Goes out of bounds to Fond du Lac. Goes off the hands, apparently, of Matt Nowak.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of thought Lee knocked that thing out of bounds, but the Cardinals will take it with the reset here.
Millage left wing. He can shoot. Steps in. Greshel. Greshel puts it on the floor. Now Sprader will get a touch. Fond du Lac up 10-6 here in the first quarter. Millage way downtown. Missed it. Millage was way out there, and he missed it from out front and over back. Going to be on Fond du Lac.
And Mike pulled up there for, I'd say that was about 23 feet. And saw the opening, knocked one of those down last week against North.
That was almost in McDonald's parking lot.
Yeah. Could have ordered a value meal at the drive-thru there if he'd have knocked that thing down. That's so far away he was.
That was the second foul on Greshel. He's in the doghouse or the dungeon for the rest of the half with the 2 fouls. So we won't see Greshel for the rest of the first half. So he goes with 2 fouls. That's going to even further thin this Fond du Lac team. Through the hands underneath of Levitt. Picked up by Fond du Lac. Sprader pushes ahead. Sprader all the way lost the ball as he was trying to make his move toward the hole, and West has it.
But Matt was going to try a little stutter step there and go strong in the rack, and he just lost the handle of the basketball.
Pass too strong for Levitt underneath, and West will turn it over to Fond du Lac.
West is kind of doing what Fond du Lac did a lot earlier in the year. Levin's got decent position, but the kids are a little quick getting it down in the paint, and they've had a couple of mishandles down there on the block. And to make sure you make a nice crisp pass in there and throw the pass where Levin can handle it, not too high or too low.
Fond du Lac will work for 1 shot with 27 seconds to go in this first quarter. They're up 10-6. Eddie Ross on the bench with 6 points to lead all scorers so far. Kept Eddie out of foul trouble in that first quarter. 10 seconds, Springborn pounds a drum between the rings. Springborn dashes to the lane, out of control, and it's going to be a travel call. He lost his footing, it looked like, and they turn it over with 5.6 seconds to go. Stecker Anderson will inbound. Just don't want to foul, and you don't want to give him anything too good here. Pass comes into Carpenter over the timeline with 3. Stolen away by Springborn. He bats it out of bounds. Smart move there with .4. Now he just was looking to bat that ball away. Maybe tip it to a teammate if it was on the other side, but he bats it towards the mid-court line where West will have a crack at it with .4. Inbound pass, turning around and shooting and missing is Levin at the horn. And that'll do it for 1 quarter. Fond du Lac on top of Oshkosh West 10-6 on your do-it-all scoreboard. This is Cardinal basketball on KFIZ.
At National Exchange Bank, we provide you what you expect and deserve in a bank. Convenient locations, South Main and North Main in Fond du Lac. You want local decisions. Lending and deposit decisions are made right here in your backyard. No corporate headquarters. You want personalized service. Every employee at National Exchange Bank is focused on your financial goals. Convenience with the advantages of a locally owned independent bank. National Exchange Bank, member FDIC.
funky Packer players?
Do you mean that 2002 summer beach calendar with the Packer players in their swimsuits?
Ooh, yeah, that's it. That's the one I'm looking for.
All right, you're going to find that in the huge Packer country section, okay? And while you're at it, you may want to pick up one of those Packer Hawaiian shirts, too.
Oh, my. Those shirts are wonderful. Perhaps you could model one for me.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that much of a model. But I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I will, if you're sure to tell all your friends about the great service here at Team Sports and tell me you could find us here at Main Street in Fond du Lac, okay?
All right. It's a deal.
Low-scoring first quarter, 10-6 Cardinals. They have the ball to start the second. Millage makes the start, along with Springborn, Saberlick, Bartell, and Eddie Ross.
I think the Cardinals in the first quarter really tried to get it inside to Eddie. Made an effort, and Eddie's been getting in good positions, and he led the team with 6 points.
Bartell, right side of the court. Flares it out front, Springborn to Millage, right wing. Mike takes it to the lane with a left-hand dribble, tosses out to Bartell, gives it up to Saberlick, out front Millage. Ross the touch, Springborn, try to feed it right back to Ross, and he throws it away.
I think Eddie there thought that Robbie was going to take that strong to the rack, and Eddie was already going for the rebound, and little miscommunication there. One thing I like, though, I like people from Fond du Lac taking it to the hole. Early in the year, they were settling for those jump shots, and the guards weren't going to the rack. You do that, and then you can get some dump-offs to Eddie and some other big people and get either Jays on the weak side or else layups.
Langenfeld head of the wheel, left-hand dribble, guarded by Springborn. That should be a pretty good matchup. 2 young guys, underclassmen. Burnt. Secker Anderson flies from the free throw line and misses. 1 and done for West. Up ahead to Ross. Ross running the court, forced out of bounds by Secker Anderson, and that'll be an foul on Dane Secker Anderson. Eddie. You know, I don't know if they want to pass him the ball in that situation. Run on the court like that? Although we saw him finish one like that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you saw Eddie get out on the break and finish there, right there. So he's got some athletic ability. He can do that, but you'd rather have him posted up on the block and do it that way like he's going to do right here.
Ross down low, a little high for him. Bartell. West misses the short jumper. Eddie tried to keep it alive, got a void over the back. The ball's loose, and Levin comes out of there with it for the Indians. Langenfeld left front court. Colin West into the game. He picks him up. 11 down, 11, and Secker Anderson can make a dynamic 1-2 punch as these guys get older. They're both sophomores. Foul underneath. Man Fond du Lac on a hold. Tomorrow morning, Breakfast Club, 6:15, 6:45, 7:15, 7:45, and 8:15. You get all the sports bright and early here on News Talk 1450 KFIZ. Sprader will come in for Bartell.
Well, Fond du Lac's been called a couple times for fouls trying to fight through screens as West is really cutting guys on the baseline with screens, and you have to either go around them or switch there, and they're trying to go through. They get called for fouls pretty much every time.
Levin missed a shot in the lane. Fond du Lac has it. Millage. Way out there, Millage. Off the front of the iron, and it won't fall through.
Like the streak shooter, he's got to find that stroke. That time just a little short as that, and he'll be all right.
Oshkosh West, the ball in the half court with 5:45 to go here in this first half. 10-6 Cardinals. Secker Anderson ran into some traffic, got it out to Levin, who's doing too much dribbling out there. Langenfeld, flare it over right side, Burnt. In the lane, Secker Anderson works his way in and scores. He had some early hoops early on scoring out of Ross. He's got 6, and the Cardinal lead down to 2.
That was a good possession there by West. They reversed the basketball a few times, got cutters to the high and the low post, and finally Secker Anderson took it strong at Eddie and got the points.
Offense has been tough to come by for Fond du Lac this year. And there's a whistle. Foul's going to be on Oshkosh West. That'll be on Mike Burnt. Cardinals, a couple of weeks ago, were second from the bottom in offense. They've moved up a little bit. They are now 6th. Appleton West running away from the competition here in the FVA. They got a 3-game lead in the Fox Valley Association on Kaukauna. Drive into holes. Saberlake was stripped. And it was last touched by West.
You know, the thing with the Cardinal offense, too, is they've been good for 3 quarters, and they always have that one stinker of a quarter, it seems like, where they put up 4 to 6 points in a in a game that drops their scoring level down a notch. If they can consistently score that 10 to 15 points a quarter like we've seen them do, they're all right up near the top of the league.
Millich runs into traffic down low. Colin West into Eddie, who turns and rattles out the shot. That one popped in and out, and a foul on Fond du Lac.
That was 3/4 of the way down. I don't see how that thing skipped out and just popped out. And then I think you got Colin West coming up trying to get that offensive board.
15 foul on Fond du Lac, the first on Colin West. And Bartell will come in for Millich. Josh Langenfeld, the 5'8" freshman, into the front court to Ryan Williams, left wing. Most of these Oshkosh West players, just like the Cardinal players, limited varsity action last year, although Tom Levin saw some primetime action against Fond du Lac and the sectional last year at some of those regular season games.
Levin was pretty productive as a freshman coming in last year for Steve Randall. He came in and really did a nice job spelling Tiger. He worked him in at times to get him his minutes and get him his experience out there, because they knew that this year he was going to have to be a major contributor if this team was going to be competitive.
Colin West got his second personal. He goes into the dungeon. 16 fouls on the Cardinals. Ryan Williams lets it fly from the free throw line. Bangs it off the front of the rim. Ross, the big 6'11", big ticket, steps in and gets the rebound. Near steal, Saberlich. Work it over to Pat Randall, who's in for a first time. Randall, the junior. Ross draws the immediate triple team. They just flood right around him. Got it out for Sprader's look for the perimeter. And Matt Sprader splashed it in from three-point land. That gets the Cardinals on the board here in the second quarter. They had gone the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds without a hoop.
That was a nice look by Eddie. He knew the triple team was there. He immediately looked at the wing, trying to find the open man where the triple team came from, and he had Saberlich on the weak side and Sprader at the top of the key, and it was take your pick, and he finally found Matt. And that's automatic for Matt if he gets an open look three.
A foul on the other end on Sprader, his first personal, to send West to the free throw line. Sprader is leading the team in shooting, second in scoring, leads the team in assists, free throw percentage he leads the team, three-point shooting he is. He's second on the team in two-point shooting. His best basketball is probably ahead of him. First free throw is down for 11, his first point of the night. Cardinals up 13-9. The 6'7" sophomore puts in both free throws for Oshkosh West, and it's a 13-10 Cardinal lead.
A lot of people compare Levin to Adrian Tiger. Adrian at this point still had a lot more beef on his body, where he was a true center. Levin's a guy that can step outside and put it on the floor a little bit more than Adrian.
Randall will create and miss, get his own board, and send it out to Saberlich, who traveled.
But you know, in high school, Adrian Tiger always liked to step outside and shoot that three. He had a big one last night for UW Milwaukee in their comeback over Loyola Chicago.
You know, when he played Fond du Lac, I was like, hey, let him take all the threes he wants. In fact, I always hoped he hit his first three, because then he'd get more confidence and he keeps shooting them out there.
Now he's starting at center, and Bruce Pearl lets him step outside the arc and knock down a few.
Apparently Randall gave him the green light too, but as I said, anytime Adrian wanted to step outside the three-point arc last year, I think it was beneficial to Fond du Lac.
He did much more damage in the block. Let him sit out there.
Foul on Fond du Lac. Sean Bartell just got his second personal. So 3 Cardinals with 2 fouls apiece. And now Bartell is going to have to go into the dungeon.
That's Gresham,
Mike Millich.
West, and Bartell, all with 2 fouls.
Millich goes in. 2:56 to go, second quarter. 13-10, Cardinals lead. West can get a little closer at the free throw line, but the free throw is missed by Trzewiowski, and a foul on West on the rebound on a push-off.
They're going to get David Shivington coming up over the top of Eddie Ross.
His first personal. Pat Randall, Chris Saberlich, Mike Millich, Matt Sprader, and Eddie Ross in there. Cardinals have some shooters in there. With Saberlich, Millich, and Sprader. Mike Sprades can shoot. He just doesn't get open enough. He's just, boy, when he takes his shots, man, when he steps through, man, Sprades can hit the shot from outside.
That's one of those things where when they double down on Eddie, Matt's just got to get to the open spot there. And if Eddie can find him and they get on the same page, he's going to be able to knock that thing down all day long.
Well, in the postseason, you're going to need somebody to come up and have some big nights. There's no doubt about it.
Like we talked about earlier in the year, we thought this team was going to go the whole season without anybody scoring 20 points, and I think we're going to do it.
Ryan Williams gets the foul for Oshkosh West. On a reach in on Saberlich. That's Ryan Williams' first personal. 15 foul on West.
Nobody with more than one foul for the Indians here tonight.
Saberlich steps in from the right side, gets fouled. And Chris Saberlich will shoot a couple of free throws.
Saberlich has not scored tonight. The only people in the book so far for the Cardinals, Sprader, Bartelt, and Ross, and only 3 people in the books for the Indians as well, and Shivington, Secker, Anderson, and Levin.
Saberlich is 10 of 15 from the line, 67%, and he drilled the first free throw. Cardinals put together an effort the other night. They played the full 32 minutes against Appleton Went North. When I say play the full 32 minutes, really thought they hustled and played all facets of the game well against Appleton North the other night. Very efficient offensively. Defensively did a great job. Free throw is missed by Saberlich. 14-10 Cardinals. Burnt to the right baseline, and the jumper is in and out and in for Tom Levin. Closing the Cardinal lead down to 2. 1:49 to go in his first half. Chuck Freeman and Wade Bates here in a swiftly moving first half.
It's going to be a race to 30 points tonight. First one to 30 win.
Cardinals won the first time around on a late hoop by Eddie Ross.
48-47, and the free throw, don't forget about that.
3-point play. That was at Oshkosh North. Remember, we couldn't play the game at West?
Yeah, a leak in the roof or something over at North, and Cardinals got that 3-point play from Eddie, knocked down the free throw with 6 seconds left to give them the 1-point win.
Randall drives to the hole, pulls up from the baseline. Pat Randall, soft touch from the baseline, creating his shot. 16-12 Cardinals with 1:11 to go in the first half. Yeah, Randall.
He only had 4 total points coming into this game tonight.
Down low at 11. Levin, the harm as he went up with a shot. Missed it, but Tom Levin will shoot 2 shots.
They're starting to get Levin. He's been getting some more touches down in the paint now. They're connecting, and give him room to work and face the basket like we talked about earlier. He's a kid that can do some damage. Still doesn't look totally comfortable with his back to the hoop yet, but that'll come.
Levin at the free throw line, where he is a 79% free throw shooter, and he put the first one in. Ryan Williams back into the game for the Indians. Levin again, hit them both. 16-14. This should be a first. This normally is a first quarter score when these two teams meet. Right. Those meetings last year, it seemed like Fond du Lac would always get down against Oshkosh West early, and then, of course, Travis had that big game against West last year in the first meeting, where they were down by double digits, and Travis sort of put the team on his back and guided them to a win.
Scored like 14 straight points in the second quarter to leave minutes. So Coach Crean was in the stands along with Jack Harbaugh, Crean's father-in-law, the coach at Western Kentucky.
Fond du Lac is going to take it down and work for one with 36 seconds to go. 2-point lead, 16-14. Millich over to Saberlich on the right wing. Toss on top to Pat Randall. 26 seconds to go. I'll never forget that game. When I think of Travis, I'll think of that game right there in particular when he just took the team on his back. He always played these big games against West, especially at their place.
Yeah, you always remember Coach Randall double-teaming Travis before he crossed the midcourt stripe.
Yeah, exactly. Double-teaming him at, just before he went over. 7 seconds left. Now the Cardinals got to operate. They get Saberlich to look, and he misses the 3-point try. Ball gets volleyball to the perimeter, and the heave from midcourt is missed by the freshman Spike Carpenter for Oshkosh West. So the Cardinals get a look, but they couldn't put it down with Saberlich's 3. And we go to halftime with Fond du Lac up 16-14 on Oshkosh West. This is Cardinal basketball on KFIZ.
Get off the bench and into the game with First Star Free Checking. Our team of financial experts will help you tackle all your banking needs. The First Star Free Checking game plan gives you no minimum balance requirements, no monthly maintenance fees, and your first order of checks is free. Rush into your local First Star office today to open your account. Serving Fond du Lac with 3 locations, Main Street, Mars Street, and North Fond du Lac. First Star, bank without boundaries. $100 minimum deposit required to open account. Overdraft protection and check return are not available with First Star Free. Member FDIC. Fourth down.
Will answer all your questions. The Sports Shop 2, located at 105 South Main Street in downtown Fond du Lac.
Convenience. That's the bottom line in American Bank. Conveniences such as a local mortgage department where all of your questions are answered quickly and efficiently. Conveniences like the info line. Just dial 1-800-711-9292 24 hours a day to check balances, transfer funds, or obtain interest rates. Conveniences like having 6 locations in Fond du Lac, Brownsville, Knowles, Mayville, Omro, and Princeton. American Bank. Convenience for business or personal banking. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
All right, we're back here at halftime. Chuck Freeman along with Wade Bates here on News Talk 1450 KFIZ and on Charter Communications. The Cardinals lead the game 16-14 at the break. Very low-scoring, defensive, grinded out sort of affair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been one of those things where you haven't shot the ball really well. The one thing I liked for Fond du Lac was early on especially, they really tried to pound it into Eddie Ross. They had Tom Levin playing behind Ross, and you give Eddie the ball with a little room to work with. If you don't have a complete body on him, he'll be able to turn, look at the hoop, and he's got soft touch where he can lay it in. That's what he did with 3 straight hoops, and then West kind of adjusted a little bit. They were bringing the double down, and a couple times Eddie found the open man. Matt Sprader, one time I remember, top of the key, he knocked down the 3-point shot. So if you can do that and find the open man in the double, you're going to have success on offense. But the Cardinals just didn't shoot the ball real well.
They did, and early on, Secker Anderson taking the ball inside on Eddie Ross. They seem to straighten that out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what teams that don't match up with Eddie that well in the paint, they can bring their bigger guy out if he's athletic a little bit and go to the hole against Eddie, because most of the time that Eddie's going to be at the disadvantage because he's so much taller. But that's what it is with Secker Anderson. And then after that, Eddie got a little bit of help, and they really cut that off as well.
I was a little discouraged last week at Appleton when Eddie only had a couple of touches down low. Seems like Fond du Lac is making a conscious effort to get Ross the touches down in the low block.
Yeah, Eddie tonight has gotten more touches probably in this game in the first half than he's gotten all season. That's what you like. If you get him a touch in the paint, he doesn't have to score every single time. It's just a matter of getting him in the paint. The double comes, find the open man, or kick it back out and reset the offense, and that's what they've done. It's just a matter of tonight, the ball is just not falling in the hoop.
All right, what do you got for the scoring? And by the way, he does this without the scorebook. He does this all at the top of his head.
I do it all off of the top of my head. Eddie Ross led the way with 6 points tonight. Matt Sprader with 5. 2 points for Pat Randall in the second quarter. Sean Bartelt had 2. And Chris Saberlich 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He has 1 for 2 from the team as well for the Cardinals from the stripe. For the Indians of Oshkosh West, they were led by Dane Secker-Anderson with 6 points, 0 for 1 from the stripe. Also 6 for Tom Levin, all 6 of those for Levin in the second quarter. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line. 2 points for David Shivington, 4 of 6 from the line tonight for the Indians so far in the first half. The Fond du Lac JVs avenged an earlier season loss tonight as well. They beat the Indians 46-30.
Bobby Lloyd coming up with a win. Get the second half coming up next. Fond du Lac by 2 on Oshkosh West, 16-14 on your do-it-all scoreboard. Back after this, our News Talk 1450 KFIZ and Charter Sports.